Hi everyone, my name is Allison Grosz. I'm an attorney and a partner with Hemrick O'Malley, PLLC in New York City. Today I want to talk about recent changes that the Department of Homeland Security through USCIS has just announced with respect to new fees that have been posted based on what is known as President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill Act, which made a lot of changes throughout the United States, and in particular, many immigration changes were made. Now, in the Big Beautiful Bill, there has been published new fees associated with immigration costs that need to be submitted with various applications that are being filed both to USCIS as well as to the Immigration Court. Let's talk about these new fees and how they may affect your case. First of all, it's important to note that any application that is included in the new fee structure needs to be now submitted after July 22nd, 2025, and it will not be accepted, meaning it will be rejected if it is not submitted with the new and correct fees according to this new fee structure. So anything that you submit from July 22nd onward must include these new fees, otherwise it will not be accepted. Now, there are a few new fees that are included in this new fee structure that have never been taken by USCIS or the court before, and these include asylum fees, annual asylum application fees for applications that are pending, as well as special immigrant juvenile fees, among some other fees. Now, the asylum application fee is required to be submitted with affirmatively filed asylum applications to the USCIS Asylum Office, as well as to the Immigration Court if you're filing a new asylum application with the Immigration Court. The new fee is $100 for the asylum application fee. There's also the annual asylum application fee. Now, this fee applies to any application that was filed after October 1st, 2024. This means that if you filed your asylum application with the court or with USCIS on or after October 1st, 2024, you will now need to pay an annual asylum application fee. And this is for applications that are pending. And the fee is due every 365 days that your asylum application is pending before the USCIS Asylum Office or before the Immigration Court. What this really means is that if you filed your application on or after October 1st, 2024, by September 30th, 2025, if your application is still pending, you will owe a fee to keep your application pending before the various immigration agencies, meaning USCIS or the Immigration Court. The annual asylum application fee for these pending cases is $100 per year per every 365 days. Now, the Department of Homeland Security is telling us that they are going to send notifications to applicants on the 365-day anniversary of their pending application to notify them that the fee is due, how the fee can be paid, and where it can be paid. Now, as we understand, these payments are going to be due online for the annual asylum application fee. However, we will be submitting for the time being until further notice is given by the Department of Homeland Security. The asylum application fee for new applications, we will be submitting those as usual, as fees are typically submitted through checks and not online unless further information is given by the Department of Homeland Security. Now, of course, DHS is still working out the nuanced details of how they will be accepting these fees, where they will be accepting these fees, and this is all very new. So it's a constantly changing, fluid process that we are staying on top of. Now, as I talked about at the beginning of this video, the asylum program fee, the asylum application and asylum pending annual fee are not the only fees that have changed. There have also been changes to lots of various kinds of applications before USCIS and before the Immigration Court. Some of these new fee structures apply to work authorizations as well as work authorization renewals for asylees as well as parolees, asylum pending applications, and various other pending work authorization applications. There are also new fees associated with motions to reopen or reconsider before the Board of Immigration Appeals or before the Immigration Court. There's also new fees that are associated with appeals from an immigration judge's decision to the Board of Immigration Appeals. There are no new fees associated with applications for cancellation of removal, as well as other applications that are before the Immigration Court. Now, what's important to know is all of these fees have increased fairly drastically. And so it's important for all applicants to make sure that they set aside enough funds if they plan on submitting an application before the Immigration Court or before the Board of Immigration Appeals to ensure that you have enough money set aside so that you can timely file your application without any issues related to fees. Because also importantly, there is no fee waiver for a lot of these applications. These are all new rules and regulations that have taken effect because of the Big Beautiful Bill that was passed earlier in July. Another major change that I want to talk about is the new fee associated with special immigrant juvenile status. The new fee to file a special immigrant juvenile application, or SIJ as it's called, which has always been free of fees in the past, is now going to be a $250 filing fee. In this video, just because we don't have time and there's quite a lot of new fees and fee structures depending on what your case is and where it's at in its proceedings, I haven't gone over every single new fee, and so it's always important to look up the fees before you file anything with USCIS or with the Immigration Court. One important thing to keep in mind is to always double check the fees that are listed by USCIS on their website against any other fees that you find posted online or in any charts. The reason for this is because recently USCIS has updated their fee structures in their website to include these new fees. And in USCIS's fees, as they're listed, the additional amounts that are from the Big Beautiful Bill that was published in July 2025 are in addition to the previous fees that were also being accepted for many of these applications. For example, a work authorization application as a renewal for somebody with a pending asylum claim previously had a fee of $520 and now has an additional fee listed of $275 in addition to the $520 as it is listed on the USCIS website. Now, this directly conflicts with the new information that was released by the Department of Homeland Security, but this is how it's published on USCIS's website. So we would recommend always submitting the full fees, both fees that are listed on USCIS's website with any application that you are submitting, if it includes the new fee that was published plus the additional fee, and USCIS will presumably reject any unnecessary fee that is being submitted if they determine that that is not how the new fee structure is being applied. Now, because this is so fluid, as I said before, this is something that's going to be constantly moving, and so we can expect, as always, whenever there's a major change in immigration policies or procedures, that there's going to be a lot of accidental or unnecessary rejections of cases or incorrect acceptance of cases while the transition period is happening. We here at Hemrick O'Malley make sure that we always submit the correct fees to the best of our abilities and that we stay on top of all of these fluid changes in the immigration laws, policies, and regulations. You can always feel free to find us online at hemrick.law. You can call us at 833-848-7838. We're happy to, of course, answer any questions about the new fee structures or about any other immigration matter. Until next time, I look forward to talking to everyone again soon.